It's Brad with College SportsCast. We are presented by the Fanboys. Hey guys, welcome in College SportsCast. Again, I'm Brad. I have Jason Harrison with me. Hey Jason.
What's going on, Brad?
We are here to do our College SportsCast wrap-up and live chat show. We're going to get started with our prize picks though. So I'm going to talk about our prize picks for just a minute. Let me get it pulled up. Trying to do two or three things here at one time. Just a second.
As usual, man. You hard worker.
All right. So our prize picks code, if you use code CSCast at prizepicks.com, they will give you a 100% deposit match up to $100. Deposit 100, get 200. It's a daily fantasy sports fun. You can go on there and do NBA. You can do NFL when it's going on. You can do NHL. You can do NCAA basketball and football. You can do racing. You can do soccer. You can do all kinds of stuff. MLB when it starts, and it's some daily fantasy fun. You pick some players and say if you go high or low. And again, help support us by using the code CSCast at prizepicks.com. We would appreciate that. All right, Jason. So I think it's going to be me and you tonight.
Gotcha.
So we were all kind of a little busy tonight. Our show schedule's a little bit off. We usually do this show at 3 o'clock Central Time. But I went to Indiana and visited with my brother this weekend, and John Roberts, who's usually on with us, has been in Atlanta this weekend. So we kind of delayed this thinking we might all kind of get back at the same time, but I don't think John's got back yet. So it's just going to be me and Jason.
He should have took me to Atlanta with him. Atlanta, baby.
Him and his wife goes, and they lived there for a year or two, I think, when they first got married. And anyways, so they go and have a little fun every once in a while, I think. So
that's good. That's rude.
So college basketball yesterday was an absolute great Saturday, man. I did watch most of the games. My brother, he lives in Southern Indiana and lived there most of his life, and he's an Indiana Hoosier fan. Okay, so yeah, I know. Well, okay, he's my half brother, and he has a different dad. His dad was an Indiana fan. That's how all that happened. Okay, but so the deal is, Indiana and Purdue were playing yesterday, and it was a huge game. And him and a few of his buddies was out, and we were watching the game together. It was kind of fun, actually, to watch the game with my brother and a couple of his buddies. He had one buddy that was a big Indiana fan. He's an Indiana fan. And he had two buddies that were Purdue fans.
Wow.
So it was pretty fun to be there and to watch the game with them yesterday. First half, Indiana's like kicking tail, up 50-35. All Purdue fans are all upset and mad, and the Indiana fans are all happy and everything. And I was there, just enjoying it, having fun, messing with all of them, to be honest with you.
Man,
and, so. But anyway, and then the second half, Purdue starts making a comeback, and the Purdue fans are thinking, "Oh, we're in this, we're going to get it." And of course, Indiana pulls it out at the end, and my brother and one of his friends was real happy. So. It was a great win for Indiana. I don't know about you, Jason, but I think that pretty much locked them in the tournament yesterday for Indiana. What do you think?
It did. And going back to, and I watched that game, man, it was an incredible basketball atmosphere. Uh, I think everybody in the state of Indiana, I want to say, came out to the game
Yeah,
because
man, it
of.
was.
I don't think when the last time Purdue's been number one going into Indiana. Being I think is man. I read a stat on TV. I can't remember exactly what he said, but I just know, man, that was a game in Indiana. Like I've been telling everybody.
Bloomington was wild. All the fans. I mean, the gym, Assembly Hall was amazing yesterday to watch.
Mm-hmm.
Hammonds, what's up, Hammonds? Thank you, man. He's on with us, so I just wanted to acknowledge him. But no, Bloomington was wild yesterday. It was a great game. I enjoyed watching it with a couple of Indiana fans and a couple of Purdue fans. It was fun to do. And then later, me and my brother watched the Kentucky-Florida game together, and so that was kind of fun. We were there. We actually watched the end of the Auburn-Tennessee game together because it came on before the Purdue Indiana game did. And then we started watching the North Carolina and Duke game together. And we didn't watch all of it because the wife, was like, hey, you guys, we got to eat and blah, 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 stuff like that. So we didn't watch.
In perspective, she got to keep.
Yeah, Abby kind of come in, and said, hey, guys, we got to eat and stuff, So we didn't watch all the Duke North Carolina game, but we watched, I don't know, maybe 15 minutes of the first half, something like that.
I can't say that Duke North Carolina, that Auburn Tennessee was a heavyweight bout. They were just throwing blows, and that Auburn Tennessee, no one can score. No one wanted to score. It seemed like
that was a terrible game.
Because I seen it. I came in. I had a couple meetings, and I came in. I was like, oh, I need to watch this game. It was 23-19. I was like, well, I didn't miss the fireworks at all. And so, the second half, they picked it up in that Duke
23-19. It might have been second half already.
Yeah, that was a halftime score. So that was a halftime score going into it. So, and that Duke North Carolina game was, man, that lived up to every bit of what that rivalry has always been. The atmosphere.
It was a great rivalry day yesterday with the Indiana Purdue and the North Carolina Duke game. Yes, and then Florida and Kentucky come on last night, and that's a pretty good basketball rivalry.
Yep.
And
even later on that night, Oregon, Arizona State was pretty good.
And Gonzaga and St. Mary's.
I watched
it was just an all-around really great day for college basketball yesterday. I thought it was just a great day, honestly. I really did. I'm going to put that up on the screen. Talking about just a great slate of games yesterday. And getting to watch them, it's first time. So COVID happened, and he's got some small kids, and they kind of closed everything off, and before Christmas this time, the last 2 years prior to this past Christmas, we didn't even get together and have Christmas. So I haven't seen him for a little while. And anyways. So I seen him at Christmas, and then at Christmas we kind of planned, hey, the next few months, this winter, before he works in construction, he gets real busy and stuff. So, he's like, before we get all busy and everything, won't you come up and spend some time with me? So anyways, we worked it out the we done it this past weekend, and I didn't realize Indiana and Purdue were playing at the time. You know what I mean? When we done it. But it wound up being a really fun deal to go up there and kind of watch the game with some of his buddies, and it was just a fun deal to do. So I appreciate going up there and having a little fun. We knocked down a few, that kind of stuff,
Being able to, that's kind of like sitting around a campfire, and just having conversation. Being able to sit around the TV and actually enjoy some games, some meaningful games on TV. So you could keep the remote going all day if you want to, because I can never watch a game completely unless it's just that good. And some of them games had you like, you know what? And what really shocked me was the Mount St. Mary's and Gonzaga. That game kept me glued to the TV. I was like, wow, counterpunch after
That
counterpunch.
game's always a very close, tough
Yeah,
game.
yeah,
Always.
yeah. So man, that was a good game.
And a lot of people might not have stayed up and watched it last night. And to be honest with you, I kind of fell out before it ended. To be honest, because it don't come on to like 10:30 Eastern time.
Man,
And my brother lives in Eastern time, so we were all, it was up there, So and then it went to overtime. I don't think it was over till like 1 o'clock in the morning or something.
Man, I know I was up. I was up, and
that's Eastern time.
Hey, and something told me to stay up and watch it because we had been talking about the Mountain West and the West Coast basketball.
Yeah, we have been,
and we never get it. And I always say I never get a chance to watch, so I want to make sure that I stayed up last night. And hey, I was treated to some good basketball, man. It's gonna be March Madness.
Pretty soon, we're in the first week of February here, man. It's getting really exciting. I love basketball. I love this time of year. It's my time of year, and Jason's a basketball player, so he loves basketball as well. If you're looking for a good basketball fix, we got you. We got your basketball fix right now. So
no doubt.
So the day started out yesterday. The biggest game to me and the biggest win for me yesterday is Indiana over Purdue. I know that if you kind of go back in the history, Indiana basically manhandled Purdue through the 70s, 80s, and most of the 90s. But Indiana basketball for the last 10, 15 years has had some down times. They haven't been quite what Indiana used to be for the most part. And Trace Jackson Davis and the battle between him and Zach Edey yesterday was a monster of a game. And I just want to say one thing about Zach Edey. So watching that game yesterday, I heard the announcers say that Zach Edey's not getting any love from the NBA people.
Well,
I don't. The dude is 7'4" and unstoppable.
He's unstoppable
in college. I
get
it. I know.
That's the only thing.
But there is NBA says potential all the damn time. That's the word they use. There is no way that you can look at Zach Edey and not say that this kid doesn't have NBA potential.
He has some NBA potential, but I will say this. What cost Purdue was the fact that Edey got in foul trouble
first half
in that game.
In the first half. That's what I told my brother yesterday.
That was it. That was the difference of the game. And so the speed of the game, you see what I'm saying, is going to be a problem for him because he does it to me. He doesn't run up and down the floor. He doesn't glide up and down the floor like all the other athletes.
Well, I mean, he's 7'4". Most 7'4" guys can't glide and run up and down the floor too much.
So now you tell me this. If he were still in the Yao Ming, Shaq, that era, we don't have a true center era anymore. That's the only thing.
Still, man, this cat, he's got a hook shot. He's unstoppable around the basket.
Okay. Could he stop the Joker right now? Could he stop Jokers down in Denver right now?
On the defensive side of the ball?
I'm just saying, period. He might be a liability because now, if you're smart, watch. If you're smart, I'm going to put him in pick and roll and make him make a decision. See,
you're gonna have to throw it over the 7'4" guy too.
Well, he's going to have to step up and challenge those NBA threes. That floor is much more spread out than it is college. It's a bigger floor, so
yeah, it is.
I think he'll get a shot, kind of like the kid who played in Central Florida. I can't think of his name. I'm looking dead at him. He played Boston for a minute. He was about 7'5". Man, why can't I think of it? I had the name on the tip of my tongue. Kid, he was about 7'5". In Boston drafted him, and he played for a
Celtics.
second.
What
That
school did he go to?
He went to Central Florida.
I probably don't know who you're talking about.
Man, look, you now you're gonna have me looking it up. But
Yeah,
I think that's the only thing about Edie that's messing us up. His lateral quickness. He's not like the kid overseas who has skills and who has the skills who can dribble. So that's the problem.
No, Edie can't. Edie doesn't have the overseas outside skills. He doesn't have all that. He's going to be a low post guy. But the thing of it is in the NBA right now, there is nobody else really in the league that would have a guy like that, and you could take advantage of that. On the offensive side of the ball, yes, you got to figure out how you play him on the defensive side of the ball, and I get that.
And I guess that's his only knock. But if that's his only knock, you know, somebody would invest in him. Try to trim him up a little bit. See if he can get those knees up.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know. I was just watching it yesterday, and I was amazed that they were saying he's not in any mock drafts. I was like, what? That's crazy talk.
He might. What year is he? He's a junior or is he a senior?
I think he's a junior. I think
he's a junior. They might think that maybe he's hit ceiling.
I mean, the last 2 or 3 games, I mean, he had 38 points and 17 rebounds and 33 points and 18 rebounds. And I mean, he's, you know, I mean, I don't know. Just telling you.
The NBA is just different now. I know exactly what you're saying. You're saying here's a massive man.
But they always say potential this, potential that, potential this. We draft on potential. Everything's potential.
Can he shoot the three? Can he shoot the three?
Probably not.
There it is.
You put him in the Kareem Abdul-Jabbar spot and let him do that damn hook shot, and you ain't gonna stop him.
You're right. But it's just the other end. It's just him exchanging the floors.
It's a different game. I get it. Yeah. I'm talking about a different era and a different game. All right. I know that I am, but holy shit. I mean, I love this dude's hook shot, man. I mean, it's amazing. It reminds me of Kareem.
Yeah, I can't.
I mean, really.
Now, I wouldn't go. It reminds now. You got to think.
I said reminds me. It's not. He's not Kareem, okay? He won't be Kareem, all right?
I was thinking more so of Yao Ming, but Yao Ming.
Yeah. He is more like Yao Ming.
Yeah, I got you.
But that hook shot, I'm telling you, it's pretty sweet.
Yeah.
Why is Jason always the man? Come on, Jay. All right, man. He'll have something to say about that here in a minute. All right, so beyond that, I think Duke winning at home over North Carolina was a big game yesterday for Duke. There were 2 losses yesterday that I think are really telltale losses on the kind of season that some marquee names are having, and one of those is North Carolina.
Yes.
You know, they're 7-5 now in the ACC. They struggled before the ACC with like 3 or 4 straight losses to some not too great teams. If I was on the committee today, this morning, before North Carolina plays the rest of their schedule, I would have North Carolina out.
Ooh.
I would. I'm just telling you. And the next team that I'm going to mention is Michigan State.
Yeah.
There are 2 teams right now.
What about Michigan as well?
Michigan's gone. I don't see how Michigan's gone. I won't even consider Michigan right now. But I'm telling you, there are 2 marquee teams that if I was on the committee today, this morning, before the rest, if today was Selection Sunday, because it's Sunday, I would have Michigan State and North Carolina out.
Man,
and I know that's not a popular opinion.
I mean, you have a valid argument. Because they're not playing the best basketball right now, and so I can easily understand why you're saying that. You see what I'm saying? So, I mean, and there's a lot of other teams who are playing well, and a lot of teams who probably just as deserve. Now, I think it might come true if certain teams do not win their conference championships when they start playing in the conference play, postseason play. A team like Florida Atlantic, say they stumble.
If they can continue to win during the regular season and then stumble, they probably are still getting in, and that's going to be a two team conference. But
that's what I'm saying. So if they end up in there, hey, you got the SEC coming up, you got everything, all the ones, and I'm using Florida Atlantic as an example because they're rated 19th in the country. They might drop two notches because they lost, but if they continue to be ranked all the way up until Selection Sunday and they lose, say, their conference championship and the championship, well, there goes teams like North Carolina who are on a bubble, who bubble might just get popped, or a team like Michigan State, because they're going to get in just because of reputation, fan base, the business side, because
are you talking about my Michigan State and North Carolina?
Yeah, I'm talking about Michigan State and Carolina.
I know what you're saying. Name alone, in my opinion, does not get you in the NCAA.
You're right.
But however, I will fully admit that name alone sometimes with committees and other people gets you in. But for me, I'm saying no. Their resume and their season does not say yes, that they deserve to be in March Madness. Not as of February 5th. Now, there's 8-9 games to go in a conference tournament, and they can surely win a few games and make me say different. I'm not saying it won't change. But as of today, right now, I can't say yes. I just can't. Not for me.
I can agree with you. I can totally agree with you.
No. St. John's is definitely a no, Jay. I would say definite no. Pepperdine, I would have to do a little bit more research on, just to be honest with you.
Clemson did go down yesterday. Clemson was riding high and mighty.
Okay, so Jay is a Clemson fan. Okay,
I know. You said you better not say Clemson, but Clemson would get in. Clemson would get in. That's not a problem with them. I just think, like I've been saying.
Okay, here's what I'm going to say about Clemson, Jay. Clemson is on a downward spiral, and they better turn it around quickly, because if they don't, in another week to 2 weeks, they're not going to be in the tournament. I promise you. If they keep playing the way they've played the last 2 weeks, the next 2 weeks, and losing to teams like they have lost to, like BC, Boston College this week, and losing at home to Miami, if they keep losing these games and playing the way they have been, they're not getting in. I'm telling you.
I think
they don't have the reputation. They don't have the schedule. They don't have the schedule strength. Their schedule strength before the Miami game was below 150. Now, they played Miami.
Like I said, I think they've done enough, more so than a North Carolina and a Michigan State. I don't think
they have right now, and right now I would slot them in. But if they keep playing the way they have the last 2 weeks, the next 2 weeks, it's a no. They will not get in.
These next, I don't know how many games left, and normally it comes down to last 10 games. These last 10 games before conference play starts.
Yep.
Before the tournament starts, conference tournament play starts, is very, very crucial to every conference.
Jay is saying hush on his Tigers, but I'm telling you right now, I've been doing basketball and following basketball all my life, and I'm telling you right now, they cannot play the way they have been playing. They have to turn it around.
They can't. They can't.
So that's my little take. The ACC yesterday, Clemson is on a downward spiral. Virginia lost a game that looked, that they should have won, in my opinion. North Carolina loses at Duke. One of those teams had to lose. I actually think that the game meant more for North Carolina yesterday than it meant for Duke. I think Duke could have lost and still been in. In my opinion, North Carolina yesterday couldn't lose that game and still be in. That's just my opinion.
Yeah, I agree with you on that. I really, really do agree with you.
Look at there. Howie Fresh is saying 2 sharp cats.
There you go. You got some love right there. Look at you. Got some love.
Look at
got
you,
some love
man.
right there.
Yeah, man.
But no, yeah, I think North Carolina really wanted the game. They played extremely hard now. They had a couple calls go their way towards the end. But North Carolina really wanted that game, and they didn't get. Duke had some calls go their way at the end, but and Duke really wanted the game more so than North Carolina. Let me correct myself. Duke wanted the game a little bit more at the end, and pulled away with a 6-0 run in the last 2 minutes, which was huge.
Right. Talking about Duke, so let's talk about Derek Lively for a minute yesterday. I mean, he didn't score a lot, but he had 14 points and 14 rebounds and 8 block shots yesterday.
He kind of like
he's a freshman that early in the season, a lot of people were saying, "Oh no, he doesn't look good. His NBA stuff is going to go down the drain and all that." Early in the season, he's starting to turn it around, is what I'm saying.
Well, you got to understand, there are 17, 18-year-old kids going against 20-year-old, 21, 22, sometimes 23-year-old kids, so it's going to take a while. It's an adjustment. It's an adjustment, and as long as he is, getting better each and every day, and it's an adjustment come from high school to college now, especially to Power 5.
Yeah.
Like, you have to really bring it. Like, if you don't bring it, you will get exposed. They can't hide you. So he's
Jay, I'm saying 6 today, but they might get 7.
They might get 7. That Virginia, like you said, that Virginia loss still keeps them right there.
Well, I mean, it does, but I'm telling you, there's Fresh. What's up, Howie Fresh, with the Fresh channel? We appreciate you being on with us. I'm even going to give Jay a little love for saying Fresh is in the house. Got to have a little fun with these dudes.
Got to.
All right, guys. So our 2023 nonprofit organization for the fanboys and Winning Edge Sports is Home for Our Troops. They build homes for wounded and injured veterans, and doing this for well over 20 years. And for every dollar that you give, 90 cents of that dollar goes towards rebuilding lives by building houses for these injured and wounded vets. They will, if somebody is from Minnesota and wants to move to Texas, they will build them a house in Texas. And we just ask if you are looking to help anybody out for 2023 that you will give to Home for Our Troops. You can do that at www.hfotusa.org.
No doubt.
All right, Jason. So what other games was on yesterday that you were watching? And, we started out talking a little bit about Auburn and Tennessee. I want to talk a little bit about Tennessee. Okay. Tennessee started this week out ranked 2 in the country.
Mm-hmm.
They had been bumped up to number 2 in the country. They played 2 games this week, went 1-1, and in 2 games combined to score 100 points.
Well,
okay. Listen, I got something to say. Rick Barnes, this Tennessee team is a really, really good team. And it's hard for me to say. I'm a Kentucky fan, but I'm going to tell you right now, this Tennessee team is a good team. Here's where I think Rick Barnes goes wrong with a lot of his teams, because he has some really good regular seasons, and then when it comes tournament time, he usually gets knocked out. And I'm going to tell you right now where Rick Barnes goes wrong. You take a look at this Tennessee team. This Tennessee team is, I mean, can we play a little bit up tempo and shoot some threes and play a little offense? And I mean, they are not going, mark it down. I'm telling you right now, on February 5th, 2023, if this Tennessee team doesn't figure out how to play offense and play a little bit more up tempo, they will get knocked out of the NCAA tournament. You can write it in the books.
I think that I think they're just shooting the ball pretty bad right now. I think they're going through a stretch because they scored against Texas when they played against Texas. I just think that they're not making shots right now because they have a great defense. You know, defense is going to win the games, but you still got to score. But they have the ability to stop.
That's what I'm saying, Jason.
Yeah, they got to make shots, and I think they'll be an exception come tournament time. I think they're just going through those peaks and valleys right now, in my opinion. I think they're going to be able to turn on, especially when Mark here.
I mean, this is about 3 or 4 games in the last 2 or 3 weeks that I have noticed. I mean, Tennessee just they play great defense. They're a great defensive team. They can hold people to 43 points and 54 points and everything else. I understand defense is a great thing, and they are doing it. But I'm telling you right now, they're going to run into a team that is just going to shoot better, just like Florida did last week.
Yeah.
And they're going to beat their ass.
Yeah.
I'm just telling you. But Tennessee has to figure out how to play a little bit of offense.
Now watch this. This was the same thing we were saying about Kentucky.
I've been screaming it all season long, Jason.
But what I'm saying is, teams make adjustments. Players have to make adjustments too. They just got to get back to doing the work. You know, that shot's going to fall, but they're not shooting the ball. Trust me, Auburn or
Is Coach Drew calling you Darren Williams?
I haven't seen that bad of a shoot between two teams in a long time. They cannot throw the ball in the ocean yesterday. In Tennessee, like I said, they just had a bad week. They're due for bad weeks. Everybody's due for a lull. You got to understand, this is a long season.
Rick Barnes has a reputation of this shit, and you know right. I'm right.
You're right. I'm not. I'm just trying to stay on the even playing field. Yeah, I'm just saying.
Yes, this NBA's Darren Williams. This is him right here. No, man, I'm just playing. This is Jason Harrison.
Yeah.
I just wanted to throw that. Virginia yesterday. What's going on in Virginia? Every time I think Virginia is a 5 or top 10 team, they get up there and they lose a game that they shouldn't lose. What's going on with Virginia?
Man, I told you, man. This, and I keep saying this. Show in and show out. Everybody is vying for position. And when you have a top ranked team like Indiana didn't look that good, but against Purdue they did. everybody who's in
Indiana
that top
had
10,
won 4 in a row. They did lose a game early in this week, and then they come out and play the game against Purdue. Over the last 3 weeks, Indiana's played really well.
But like I say, everybody's getting up for the. It's really the home games. If you can get a big team in your home, you're trying to win your home games. Right now, you have to win all your home games and try to go 500 on the road.
And find a couple of wins on the road.
You have to go at least 500 on the road.
Yeah.
Win as many home games as you can to put yourself in a good position. If you can't win at home, then it's a real problem.
Coach Drew, I don't know how in the crap you turned out to be a Duke fan, okay? But I'm not a Duke fan. I won't be a Duke fan. Duke won a big game yesterday. John Shire's too nice of a dude. It's not Duke, but like the Duke North Carolina game yesterday, when you put Shire and Herbert Davis on the sidelines, and they're so nice and friendly and good dudes and everything else. And then you got North Carolina and Duke that's playing, and they've been the rivals in the country, and all of a sudden they're just too nice. And now the game, there was no scuffles. There was nothing that went on in the game yesterday. And it's just like, what? This isn't Duke in North Carolina.
When you have kids that are leaving year in and year out, they don't get a chance to just stay and make it a rival.
Your mom went to Duke. Okay. I'll give you a damn pass for that. He's from Oklahoma. Come on, man. I'll give you a hall pass, okay? You can't keep it, but you can have one for a little while. I'm just messing a little bit.
Mine went to Duke. He got a cheer for Duke. Bottom line.
I get it. Line, Texas won a big game yesterday.
They did. Kansas State.
Yeah,
on the road.
Texas won a big game yesterday on the road.
Yeah, man. Hey, it's February. It's February. It's that time of year. It is. I told you about the middle of February towards the end, you're going to start to see teams who you think somebody's going to get hot right now. Somebody's going to get hot towards the end of going into their conference tournament. Like right now, Houston is in a dogfight in the first half against Temple. Temple beat them in Houston.
Temple's already beat them once. I know. All right. There's another team from yesterday that I have got to get to and I've got to talk about because I've got another edge on a sword here that I've got to have. So, all right, Kansas. Man, could the polls and the rankings please look like tomorrow that Kansas is 2-4 in their last 6 games? Is that possible? I'm so sick. Kansas went 1-3 over a 2-week period and went up in the poll, went from 9 to 7. How the hell does that happen? And then they lose again yesterday and look terrible, score 53 points in a game. And I'll be damned if they're not going to be slotted at a damn 2 seed again.
Well,
they're 2-4 in their last 6 games.
Well, I know which blue blood you pulling for because I hear it all in your voice.
It irritates the crap out of them. If that was Kentucky, their ass would be out of the polls.
Well, you got to understand, they're in the best conference in the country right now, and they for a minute they were winning. It's just these last 2 weeks. Peaks and valleys. They're just on the downward spot. They're going to go back up. They're going to figure it out because
they're 6-4 in the Big 12. They're 2-4 in their last 6 games.
When you're in the roughest, toughest conference in America.
Well, they should be the roughest and toughest of the whole toughest conference.
Clearly, that's not it. Clearly, that's not it.
If they're going to be a number 1 or number 2 seed, then they should be the roughest and the meanest and the toughest of that toughest conference. They shouldn't be 2 and 4.
Whoever wins that conference outright will be a number 1 seed.
So they should be going.
Whoever wins that conference, and hopefully, I don't even think the winner of the conference might even win the conference tournament. That's how
they probably won't because it's just there's too much competition in there.
So, so I think they're going to get that conference going to get a 1 seed. Big Ten is going to get a 1 seed. SEC will get a 1 seed, and maybe the ACC or another conference might get it. But man, look here, Kansas will make the Final Four. Book it now,
Drew. I'm telling you right now, man, please, somebody make some sense out of the polls and the rankings and the seedings and everything. You can't put a team in a 1 or 2 slot that's went 2 and 4 in their last 6 games. In the middle of January and now February.
Man, it's hey, March Madness is upon us. That's all I can say. Everybody knows it's the end of the year, kind of like football. This is basketball's last official month before March Madness hit, and you know what that brings. Everybody is trying to get wins. Wins are hard to come by right now. They're
Drew, who you keeping a receipt on? You need to keep a receipt on Kansas. That's who you need to keep a receipt on. You darn Oklahoma fan. How the hell are you going to be talking anything about Kansas?
hey, he little chaos. A little chaos.
Anyways, yes, one of those wins was at Rupp against Kentucky. I fully admit it. I know Kentucky ain't been this team that they should have been this year. But I'm going to tell you right now, you can't be 2 and 4 in the middle of January and 1st of February and not fall in the polls and the seedings. That's absurd.
Hey, they won't be top 10 after this week. I can guarantee
they shouldn't be. They should be like 18 is where they should be. Maybe.
I'm gonna say they're gonna end up somewhere like probably no lower than
they
15.
won't. They won't. They're gonna fall. They're gonna fall from 8 and go to 10. That's what they'll do.
That might be 11 or 12. I give them that. Yeah.
Anyways, I have a pick against some of this stuff. I'm a blue blood, and it's not that blue blood.
I know. That's why I said I know which blue blood schools you're pulling for. I already know.
Drew, I'll try to get on tonight, man. I appreciate you being on with us. I'll try to tune in tonight. 8:15 for your show tonight. I'll put it up. Drew does Under Official Review. That's his podcast for the Fanboys. He's part of the Fanboys group. He seems to be a Duke Blue Devil fan, which I'm not real sure why. But anyways, he is from Oklahoma. He's an Oklahoma fan in football, and somehow or another, he is a Duke Blue Devil fan. You make some sense out of that. I don't know.
Hey,
but anyways, I'll tell you this much. Go and watch his show. I'll try to get on there a little bit later. I was on the show one night, and they do a football podcast, and they do a great job. So y'all check out Under Official Review as a podcast. All right, so I'm going to turn the page just for a minute. I'm hearing that Kyrie Irving might be traded to the Mavs.
Man, look, a lot of people don't like it. I love this trade. Now, I don't know if he's going to stay in Dallas. If he stays in Dallas, he can keep majority of his money because there's no state taxes if he wants to do it. And I know he's preferred.
There you go, Drew. I gave you a plug.
He might want to go to LA to join back with LeBron, but I love this trade. I love it because now Luka doesn't have to do it all. Luka can get off the ball and he can rest, and so he can close games out. And I think it'll work well. I think
is it official, or
yes,
is it? It is.
Yeah, it's official. It's official. It's official. He's supposed to be. He might make his debut Wednesday against the Clippers.
Wow.
I think Mark Cuban is going all in with Luka.
Well, I mean, you can't blame him. Luka's, I mean, maybe the best player in the league right now.
I would argue that. No,
I mean, maybe. I'm not. I mean,
I would argue that with you rather, because I just have a phone saying that. I was just having a discussion when I was when I was working out. I was saying Luka to me is the most besides Joker. And I know Murray, and I like Murray. He's coming back. Jamal Murray, he's rounding back into shape. What he once was pre-injury.
From his injury, yeah.
His injury. I think he's coming all the way back. I think he's coming. But Luka to me is the most feared guard in the entire NBA because you cannot put anybody on him. You just gotta hope he's off.
Yeah,
that's it. I hope he's off.
I mean, I agree with you. I mean, like I said, I didn't say he was. I said he may be. He may.
I'm saying that. I'm arguing that. Everybody want to say Steph and all that. Yeah, but Steph runs around off screen. Luka has the ball in his hand, and he's making all the decisions.
Steph's 33, 34, had some injury problems. I mean, yes, Steph is still like a really, really, really good player and one of the top 5 or 10 players. I will not say any different than that. But
I can agree.
I mean, he's more on the downside of his career than he is at peak.
Exactly.
If you get what I'm saying.
I know exactly what you're saying. You're saying.
Anyway, I just wanted to throw that out there. When I punched up ESPN, I noticed that was one of the first things that popped up was that Kyrie Irving's talking about being traded to the Mavs.
I was going to bring that up a little later on. I'm kind of glad you brought it up. So
Temple is beating Houston at halftime, 37-33. Looks like, and Temple already beat them at Houston about a week and a half, 2 weeks ago.
So conference, and so with this win, if they pull this off, they'll own that tiebreaker against Houston and probably take over sole position in the first place.
Oh yeah, and that's going to get. They're in the AAC.
I told you guys.
That's going to get that. If Temple can beat them twice,
they got to be easy.
I think that's going to get them in. I mean,
9-2 in the conference at that.
Yeah,
against the number 3 team in the country.
I mean, they're 14-9 overall, but they're 9-2 in the conference and 2 wins over Houston.
Could be 9-2 if they win tonight. They're 8-2.
Yeah, 8-2. Okay,
they're 8-2. And
so they'd be 15-9. They'd be 15-9 overall, and possibly 9-2 in the conference with 2 wins over Houston.
That says a lot right there. That says a lot.
So I would think that would put them in.
Yeah, a conference record and see that's going to burst a bubble.
But Memphis has lost a game, and they might be on the way down in that conference.
They just lost to Tulane. Tulane beat them at home, and Tulane's beat them twice. And so Memphis, that's a team that you might want to put in, but who knows?
Memphis still has a chance. I'm just saying they can't be losing games like they did. They got to win some of them games to get in. But, that conference possibly could get 3 teams in, possibly, maybe 4, 3 probably would be my guess.
Yeah, possibly.
But I think, there's a few teams in that conference. You look at there's a few conferences. You look at the Mountain West, man. The Mountain West has got some really good teams. The West Coast right now with, St. Mary's and Gonzaga. I mean, both of them teams are getting in. And, so.
Man, look, those teams right there. I'm starting to agree with you guys said about Gonzaga earlier when you guys said that guard play is a little bit out of reach, and I kind of said I think they can, but I seen it. I seen it yesterday. They got to do more because Timmy just can't do it all. Timmy's gonna need some help later on, and you guys are right.
Yeah, I don't know that this Gonzaga team can make a real deep run. Can they get to the Sweet 16 or something? Maybe, but I'm not.
I think they might be able to win the. They might be able to win the first round, but I'm not sure if they can even get to the Sweet 16 because that's rough. That's rough. He's gonna need some guys to really step up.
You look at the Big East right now, man. They got some killer teams playing right now. I mean, Xavier and Marquette, I think, are two of the top 10, 15 teams in the country right now. And then Providence is right there with them. I mean, just a slight little notch. Creighton has been coming up to them, all right. And then you got UConn that's still in the top 25 as well.
I think they're gonna fall out. I think they're gonna fall out of the top 25.
But right now, I think it would be a 5-team conference.
I can believe
if you do it right now today.
Yeah, I can believe it.
Now, Creighton and UConn, one of those might fall out if they stumble, but Creighton's been playing some great ball as of lately.
Shout out to Trey Alexander, my guy, man. He's been playing great basketball.
And they have a great team. They just kind of went through a thing in the middle, fell apart. I agree with you, Jay. UConn can be a scary team. They have lots of size and so much depth. I mean, they can play like 10, 11 players at a time. I agree with you, though, Jay. I mean, I agree with what UConn can be, but I agree with Jason. They're kind of on a downward spiral, and I'm not so sure that they're going to continue enough to get in. But I think they do have a good team. Can they finish it up and turn it around is the question, really.
Yeah. 2 months ago, they were looking like a national championship team. They were a scary team.
Yeah.
Either 1, 2, or 3 in the country. And now, hey, when it's a make or miss game. You don't make shots, the other team makes shots. It's hard to win.
Well, it's been an absolute fun week. The weekend basketball slate was just amazing. I loved watching several of these games. Like I said, you finished it up with a St. Mary's and Gonzaga game, and Gonzaga had a pretty good lead in that game. And St. Mary's, fought back, got it into overtime, and then, gosh, they basically just manhandled them in overtime, right?
Yeah, they did. They made some key buckets down the stretch, and ran off with it, man. For the most part, Gonzaga really controlled the game. But
Jay says Clemson and UConn in the national championship. Book it.
I don't know about that.
That's a little far stretched.
Mount St. Mary's fought, well coached, one of the top 10 teams winning percentage over the last 10 years. And, hey, they're going to be a scary team to face in March as well.
They are. It's going to be a fun time. So before we kind of wrap things up here, I want to say to everyone on Tuesday night, we're going to do our very first baseball special. We are going to have Auburn's baseball coach, current head coach, head manager for the baseball team is Butch Thompson. We're going to have him on our show. Thanks to John Roberts. So we are going to be talking baseball, and baseball, SEC baseball, Auburn baseball, and the chance to get to Omaha. So tune in for our baseball show on Tuesday night with Auburn's baseball coach Butch Thompson. We've got that coming up. And then not this Thursday, but next Thursday, we got another special guest coming up. We're going to have UT legend Ron Slay on with us. That's special thanks to Jason, who's there with me tonight. It's going to be kind of a fun deal. Ron's actually going to come on with us and do our game day pick'ems. So Ron's not coming on like as a special guest and us do an interview and stuff. Ron Slay's going to come on College Sportscast and do a game day pick'em style show like we normally do on Thursday nights.
Yeah.
All right, with us. And here is where I think it's going to be fun. It's coming on February 16th, okay?
Say it.
February 18th, Kentucky and Tennessee play each other, okay? At Rupp.
Hey, listen, we can't make this
at Rupp after Kentucky went to Knoxville and knocked them off. And Ron Slay is going to be right here, guys. So it's going to be a blast. I'm going to have fun. I hope Broad Slay is going to be okay with me picking on him picking on me.
Oh, he will.
I'm sure that he will.
Yeah.
And I'm going to have a blast with it. It's going to be a fun show. So anyways, right here, College Sportscast, Ron Slay is going to come on and do our college game day pick'ems.
Yeah.
So that's going to be fun. And thanks to Jason, that's going to happen.
Fun times.
I think Jason may have to head out of here. I might wrap up a little bit of our stuff that we talk about to wrap up the show. But Jason, do you need to head out?
Yeah, I got to get to another Zoom meeting, but I'll be on Tuesday, locked and loaded, ready to go, man, and Thursday as well.
All right, man.
As well, man. So.
We appreciate you being on. It's been a fun show. I always like doing these with the guys.
Always, man. I'll see you guys later, man. I got to get to this. I'm 6 minutes past my other one, so I got to get to moving.
All right, man. All right, man. All right, man. We'll see you, Jason. Have a good night. All right, guys. So I'm going to kind of wrap this up. We just trying to throw our show together tonight. Like I said, John Roberts went to Atlanta. I've been to Southern Indiana near Evansville. And this weekend, Jason's been doing a few things too this weekend, I think. And we just kind of throwing all this together, having a little bit of fun with you guys. We do want to mention the Butch Thompson show on Tuesday, Ron Slay on February 16th. We've got a few other things that we're trying to line up, but no certain dates set up yet. But we're going to have fun with those. I do want to finish the show talking about our prize picks again. We are now part of Prize Picks, and you can help support us by using the promo code CSCAST. If you are creating a new account, they will match your 100% match your deposit up to $100. So you can deposit $50 and get $100. You can deposit $100 and get $200. And they have daily fantasy sports games that you can play, minimum $5 a bet, I believe. And you can go higher or lower with NBA, with NFL, with MLB, with NHL, with college football, basketball, with racing. There is a plus 30 sports that you can do this with on a daily, and it is a fun way to be involved. Everybody loves fantasy sports. So again, use our code CSCAST to double your deposit up to $100. I'm going to wind up asking you guys to follow us. Go to Linktree, go to thefanboys.com, and you can find us. You can find all the other podcasts that's available on the Fanboys. There's about 17 or 18 of them. If you are a Clemson fan, a Tennessee fan, Auburn fan, an Arkansas fan, there is something there for you. Find your team. That we're doing. They're starting an MLB podcast. There is a wrestling podcast. There is an NFL podcast. So there is something there for you at thefanboys.com. We also ask that you follow us, College Sportscast. We are going to be covering all things college sports. And we do football, we do basketball, we do baseball Follow us, subscribe, like, share, rate us. We ask that you go to YouTube or Apple or Spotify and follow or subscribe, like, share, tell your friends, and we appreciate you guys being on with us. We will see you on Tuesday night with Auburn baseball coach Butch Thompson. Have a good night, guys.